and how it has touched many lives. We are most delighted to have with us our keynote speaker, Mr. Mehmood Vaid, Head Exchange Technology, 63 Moons Technologies Limited. And let me take this opportunity to introduce him to all of you. With an overall work experience of 25 years, Mr. Vaid has thorough understanding as a techno-domain expert for equities, equities derivatives, commodities spot, commodities derivatives, currency derivatives, ETFs, and indices. Extensively involved in business and software product design and development, implemented at numerous exchange platforms of various asset class, he is very comfortable with software products for exchanges, order routing solution, clearing and settlement solution, members back office solution, and straight through processing. At 63 Moons, Mr. Mehmood heads the Exchange Technology Business Unit. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to welcome Mr. Vaid on the dais.
I will need a round of applause, please. Yes, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Before I start, let me confess, the presentation and the talk that I am doing now is a last-minute change. I was prepared with something else, but after hearing so many people talking some great things, I thought probably my content will not be of help. The disadvantage of speaking on the second day also has its constraints, because many of the things that I wanted to speak were already covered. And then सोने पे सुहागा भूषण जी जैसे आदमी हमसे पहले बोल लेते हैं, तो वो बहुत और टेंशन हो जाता है. अगर वो 15 मिनट और बोलते तो मैं अपना प्रेजेंटेशन कैंसिल करवा देता. So the set now is I'm going to talk about going back in history, something that Bhushan ji also mentioned and a few of our friends have mentioned yesterday. So how 63 Moons Technologies have touched many lives in this digital transformation over last 20 years. So first and foremost, for some of you who may not know, 63 Moons Technologies is erstwhile Financial Technologies India Limited, more popularly known as FT. So 3 years back, we were rebranded as 63 Moons. We have been, again, just to support my point earlier that I have changed my presentation. Since yesterday we have been talking about this subject, so I took some help from Wikipedia and took the content from there to just keep the focus on what I want to speak, and it is in line with this when we are talking about digital transformation. 1995, Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, they went for online trading. The advantage that National Stock Exchange had, it was on day one electronic, online trading. It did not have open outcry system. While Bombay Stock Exchange had a history of over a century, and they had this mindset of not going into digital. So we take learnings from there, and we must remember here that what I'm saying may not be relevant today, but the learnings of those days only tells us that at every point of time, things keeps changing, and we have to evolve with that to keep us relevant in time. So these were the conditions of the market then, where there were exchanges, there were online electronic trading in the segments. Today we have so many segments for trading, but it was only equity share market trading for shares, buying and selling, that's it. And then there were weekly rolling settlements. Today we have daily rolling settlements. People who understand finance market will understand what I'm saying, but for others it was like a cycle of 10 days was reduced, today is 3 days, and the trading cycle of 5 days today is reduced to a single day. And all the deliveries were physical deliveries, which means today all of us probably have a DMAT account, and all deliveries are compulsory in DMAT. I'm talking about the time when all the deliveries were on physical, like share certificates, and for 50 shares, you may also end up having 50 share certificates of 1 share each. That was the time. The founder of 63 Moons, or the erstwhile Financial Technologies, Mr. Jignesh Shah, he was working for Bombay Stock Exchange. He could see that after this change, there is going to be some more change coming in, and if he goes into the normal technology business, if he has to start a business of supplying manpower, like that was the trend in 95, 94, 96. So these were the time where Y2K was very prevalent, and people were like kind of body shopping was the term. So everybody in technology were talking about supplying manpower to Western countries. He took a conscious call of setting up a technology for the brokers, which he thought was a future technology. I'm able to talk about it today because it is a success story. So my respect for those who have done something great, could not reach to the height of success, but that does not mean that they were not a good thinker. Sometimes things does not work, and sometimes it works at a later date, so sometimes people are before time also. So he decided to set up a company at a mezzanine floor in somewhere in near stock exchange in Mumbai. From there to the journey of having an own premises of around 1 acre in premium Mumbai area, with having our own building of 9 floors, is the journey. Now, during that, what happens when he identified rather, and he decided to have a technology solution, we developed a software which would enable the brokers to connect to the exchange and also give electronic connecting to the client. Why was this need? So we will have to just go behind and say that why was the need of an electronic exchange? Because it was an open outcry system. There was inefficiencies there. People who were going in the ring to trade, they were kind of keeping their own margins. So if you say I want to buy something for 10 rupees, he would probably buy it for 9 rupees 50 paise and give it to you for 10 rupees, and this 50 paisa that was called gala was kept by him for himself. So there were, the price discovery was not very transparent. So the whole concept was of price discovery. So online trading came in. BSE could not catch up with NSE initially. I was a part of it. It is maybe because of the mindset of the brokers and the jobbers who were in the ring. So the change resistance was heavy there. NSE could do it because that was, as I said, day one online. So they gave an outlook of a very professional organization, while BSE had to catch up on that. So after this, what happens when this sub-brokers or the jobbers goes away? Even the traders used to take call, give the price to the clients, or the client would travel to the broker's office. Now, this was their opportunity. Our solution added to that now you don't have to go to your broker. You can trade from your own premises. The broker also had a worry when he was online trading with the exchange. He did not had enough real-time risk management with him. So the client would go overexposure for this purpose of trading, and the broker would not have any control until the end of the day when all trades files are uploaded, and then he sees that, oh, I do not have sufficient margin from this client, or the client has been defaulting in his payments. So our solution, exchange technology, or the brokerage technology solution, helped the broker in doing all these activities. Now, what does that mean? It is, again, there is a change, there is a risk, there is a call that is taken that while we do all these things, there are some people who are going to lose their job. And yes, what is the alternative? For them to learn and also be relevant. Just to cite an example in the similar line of business, the institutional business then was like, even on online trading, once the trade has happened, the order is given by the fund manager sitting outside India to the broker and informed to the custodian of this fund manager that you will get a contract note of this price. My buy or the sell price is this. You honor it if it is this price. The broker is now compulsorily, after the trade has been executed, would rush to print the contract note, send his guy running to the custodian's office, who will acknowledge the contract, and the time is, it has to be done before 4 o'clock. Market closes at 3:30, it has to be done before 4 o'clock. Somebody trading from Share Bazaar or Dalal Street in Mumbai, and traveling in Mumbai has always been a problem, would have to go all the way sometimes too early to give this confirmation. So there was, again, when this was happening, there was again an opportunity to do some STP business, straight through processing, where you have contract uploaded on a digitally signed format, one going to the fund manager who will confirm this trade, and it goes to the custodian who also confirms it that yes, I have got it, and nobody moves from anywhere, and the contract note is moving electronically. These kind of setup also needs the support from the regulators, because they are all multi-party who are involved here, and one person cannot set the rule for all of them. So there's somebody who will decide, who will lay down the regulations for this. So even if there is a need there and you do not arrange enough of setup with the government or with the regulators, this kind of setup would not work. So because this was seen and we could be ready, we have been in this business of straight through processing also, and majority of the contracts in institutional deal are also done through our platform called STP Gate, all these confirmations of institutional deal. So more than 60% of the deals goes through our platform. Odin as a software has been there for last 20 years, ever evolving. Now, when you talk about evolving and the ideations, most of the time, once you develop something, and we heard yesterday evening, we cannot sit and relax on your past laurels. So you keep learning things. The latest learning that is coming right now in my mind is about WhatsApp on web. So when WhatsApp on web was launched, everybody appreciated it. It has become much easier for us to use when we are extensively working on WhatsApp. But we took inspiration from that, and what we did is, using the same QR code concept, brokers today, earlier, used to have a guy sitting in their office when all our Odin servers are up to see that if there is any error message that is coming on the console, so that he can take some action, reactive actions on that. But for that, he has to be physically present, or somebody has to be physically present in the in front of the screen. So now we have developed this QR code concept where he takes it on his mobile, his server console comes on his mobile. So now he is free to move around doing something else also. The guy who is appointed for the purpose is also doing something else, and he sets up the notification there of vibrations and noise and all those things with severity. And if it is very severe, it overrides all the notifications that he has set to the phone will start making noise and vibration and everything. So he gets to understand. So these are the learnings that we pick up from the industry, still keeping us relevant. That is all story, and I am constrained to look at the time also, so I'm kind of trying to fast forward also. That was all about FTIL 1.0, but then we do not sit there. When all this automation happened and people started accepting it, we had to then look for something else, and before we do this, there has to be somebody who is again sponsoring this, having the vision, sponsoring the vision, because we heard the management has to sponsor, they have to interest people so that people can take decisions, give them the budget also. So by and large, this group has been lucky with that, and that has been happening consistently. So 2003, India saw its first commodity exchange fully promoted by 63 Moons. Over the period, for all legal reasons, today we are not invested in this exchange. We have disinvested 100% of it, and we are the technology supplier to this exchange. So today, if anybody is trading on the commodity in MCX, they are at the back end. If they are not using Odin, then even still the matching is done by our software there. There we were talking about, Bhushan ji mentioned about कौन बात करता है तुम्हारा few minutes का about email. So again, to draw context from there, I have to answer question today कि ये message 500 microsecond में क्यों आया जबकि बाकी के message 150 microseconds में आ रहे हैं. So Sunday morning के लिए सिर्फ याद दिलाता हूँ, एक second में 1000 milliseconds and 1 millisecond has got 1000 microseconds. So I answer the questions about microsecond. So time has become so relevant today, and speed has become so relevant, and there are evidences where broker questions the exchange that why did I get this message 100 microsecond or 50 microsecond late after doing all his analysis, which means he is technically so advanced that he does all the analysis to say how much his network card speed is, what is the network speed is, or how much meter of cable has been used, what is the speed of travel in this cable, everything is taken care of. So we provide all that solution to these exchange. Not only MCX, we also formed, just to create the ecosystem and to complete the ecosystem, there was a collateral management in terms of commodities. There is an infrastructure that is required for warehousing and all, which is, even if we call it DMAT, it has to be stored physically somewhere. So we had one entity called National Bulk Handling Corporation. We have disinvested from that also to venture capital. We set up another exchange in Gulf, the first derivatives trading exchange in DGCX, and not only that, that helped us in setting up exchange in Bahrain, in Mauritius, in Singapore. Now, so these are the other exchanges. Indian Energy Exchange is another exchange that is set up in Delhi. The highest volume of energy trading that happens, again set up by 63 Moons, over the period disinvested. Now what going forward? So ये सब तो story हो गया, 20 साल में ये सब किया है. Now going forward, what do we look at? What we want to do? So we have changed our name to the largest ecology that is known. So that is from there we are drawing the inspiration, and we are saying that we will set up the digital ecology where we have identified some 20 target industries where we will be doing innovations, and the count of innovation is 108. So that the curiosity is raised, 108 comes from, because we have had some legal issues, and Mr. Jignesh Shah was kept in custody, though the court has also said that this was an illegal custody, but he was kept in custody for 108 days. It needs the kind of guts for that kind of visionary to say that against this I will give so much of innovation to the country, so that the country gets benefited out of it. So you do not think only about business, you also think about the social impact that it will carry. Something for you to read about the strength of the company from there to here, the journey, and it is good to talk about it on the hindsight. Remember, I have mentioned that when we are doing all these activities, it is important that all the stakeholders, the brokers, the end client, the regulators, the government, the support system, the consultants, the auditors, all have to be taken into consideration, and then you arrive at a solution which is acceptable by the market over the period. It does not happen overnight. So to say all these things that I'm saying today, or maybe from a year back, it has taken 20 years of the journey. So again, while I'm talking something else, this is for you to read. In the whole process, wherever we have seen the innovation advantage for today, while I'm talking, and the last week the team has been working, is to replace voice calling to an automated trading using Alexa. So the sign-on happens using Alexa. The trade happens in very contextual manner, that you say, अभी Reliance का भाव क्या है? So it says, आज BSE में Reliance का भाव 1315 रुपए है. Because you have spoken in Hindi, you will get a response back in Hindi. And the guys, technical team from Alexa was pretty impressed, because they have not made it for languages till the time that they came to us for the proof of concept. And then you say, उसमें से 500 बेच दो. So it is all context relevance. So 500 शेयर आपका NSE में ये भाव में बिक गया. So you get the confirmation back from Alexa. Not only that, you also have a setup which is again automated to take care of confirmations. Earlier, brokers used to call the clients or send an email about the confirmation, and this is some regulation also for that, which is to be complied to. So there is an automated system which generates the call to the customers and give them the confirmation of their trades. We had to modify this software. On the lighter note, the first call of this went to one of the ladies in Mr. Kotak's house at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she got irritated, and Mr. Kotak had to tell his team that discontinue this service until you don't have the facility of having time based, so that you do not call customers who do not want to call at a mid-time. So this requirement came from there, and we have incorporated that as well. So now a customer can decide he needs confirmation between what and what time, and how many times there has to be a retry. Now these are the things that keeps us bringing things into evolving, giving the industry automation, also taking care that people who become kind of irrelevant because of these changes also gets an advantage. For example, the dealers who became irrelevant because of all this automation also had the clients who would call without knowing about the stock market, and still they want to trade. Who will give them the advice? So again, we talk about the artificial intelligence there. So the moment a client calls based on his registered mobile number, the entire screen changes. It gives the dealer the receiver of the call, what is his portfolio, what are the research department going to talk about it, how many research companies have given what kind of call for it, what is the current price, and what should be the advice to this client. If there is no advice, what is the cross-sell or upsell that can be done to this client. So this is enabling the marketing department of the brokerage and using the same set of people who were otherwise thinking that they have lost their job because of the automation. So they became all the more relevant now, and they get information rather than seeking information. They get the information about the client, which they keep talking. The last slide only says about what all we have done over the period, the journey so far, the contribution to the government, and what we have taken back from the government is nothing. So it's a zero-debt company over the period, is still into innovation, which we said that now we call it as technovation. And we want to be there regardless of what is the term that is used. We want to be relevant even in time to come, because we believe we are the first make in India IPR owned company, when the other agencies were just talking about it. And unfortunately, we had a setback in 2013 to now, but then we have also learned in the process. And it takes that kind of efforts to be in place when you have to have this kind of solutions for the market, for the country like India. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vaid, for that very, very enlightening session over here. We will take a couple of minutes for the next setup as we have a panel discussion coming up.